Now, this plane really needs no introduction. Hey, how you going everybody? Welcome back to Hearns TV. It's me, Dan again, and I'm going to talk to you about a model kit that I think is really cool and I think you guys need to know about. Now, this plane really needs no introduction, but for those of you that don't know, I would like for you to meet the Junkers Ju87 Stuka. Very, very famous German plane from the Second World War. And for those of you that don't know, Stuka is actually an abbreviation of three German words, Sturzkampfflugzeug, which means dive bomber. This plane was flown by Hans Rudel, who was the most highly decorated German serviceman of the Second World War. And one of the things that made this plane so famous was not only the way that it looked, but when it was dive bombing on its target, it actually had a really eerie, piercing siren attached to it that made a wailing sound. They called it the Horns of Jericho, which absolutely terrified the guys on the ground. This plane first entered service about 1936. Went in, it saw action in pretty much every theatre of the war that Germany was involved in. And to begin with, because it was just so devastating, it was tough and precise, and when you heard them coming, it just put fear straight into it. They thought that the Stuka was pretty much invincible, but like all dive bombers of its time, once it was an environment where the operators didn't have complete air superiority, its lack of speed and maneuverability made it very vulnerable to the opposing fighter planes, in particular in the Battle of Britain, and its limitations became quite apparent. It was officially retired in 1944, although it was just over 6,000 of them were produced, and it saw action right up until the last days of the Second World War. So let's have a look at it, shall we? Now, before I open the box, this is an Airfix kit. Airfix has been around a very long time, very well known modeling company. I've made many Airfix kits myself over the years. Now, the Stuka's a little bit awkward looking, as you can see. It's got features that would make a modern aerodynamicist cringe. There are plenty of things on here to create parasitic drag to slow down the plane. But it is not without its visual charm. So let's have a look at it, shall we? Open the box, and we'll start with the instructions. Yeah. I like this. It's just a little bit of color. This is excellent. This is excellent. I like this a lot. It has the big pictures that are highlighted, the pieces that are the focus for each individual part where it goes together. This is very good. Very good. This makes it simple and very easy to follow the construction process. But I want to skip to the camouflage part. Let's see, where is it? Ah, here we go. We'll start with this one. Yeah, Sturzkampfflugzeug number 3, or 3 in German. I like this camouflage pattern, the more darker greens and the lighter undersides. And then this one here, Sturzkampfflugzeug 2. This is Libya and the North African campaign. I really like desert camouflage patterns. There's something predatory about it. The way that the colors work together. I just really like it. I like painting them. And yes. So let's have a look at some of the pieces. All right, we'll put that one to the side. Now this kit, you can do either the B2 model or the R2 model. The B model was the first mass-produced one, I believe, after it got its baptism of fire in the Spanish Civil War, and the R is the extended range version, which came a little bit later. The R stands for Reichweite I think that it is, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. Sorry to anyone that speaks German if I've absolutely massacred the language there. But let's start with here. Now, this is where, these is clearly where the wings, the gull wings are, and parts of, yeah, here's the part where the wings will meet the fuselage, the gull part where it bends, and then we have little pieces of the cockpit and all of the dials and instrumentation that would go on the inside. Move that up a bit. And a 3-bladed propeller with the different nose cones for the different variants. And here we have the cowling, the cover of the engine at the front with the air intake. I think that was for the oil coolant system on the aircraft. And here we have another propeller for one of the differing versions, and more pieces of the engine. The engine was the slight letdown on the Stuka. It was a little although a reliable engine, it was a little underpowered, and as the variants advanced, they did give it more powerful engines to try and push it faster to make it a better performer, but because it didn't have retracting landing gear and just other features that stuck out and created drag, it was never really fast enough and never really maneuverable enough to operate safely on its own. It always needed an escort, heavy escorts as a matter of fact. And another thing about the Stuka is its very unique canopy, all segmented like that with the 2 crew members, the pilot and the rear gunner. The front part where the engine is and where the propeller stuck out at the end, it had a big air intake like a mouth. It looked a pointed nose, almost like a shark in a way. And they actually did used to paint the shark mouth on the front of the Stuka to give it that more of a intimidating visual aspect for when it went into combat. And now we have another one of its very distinguishing features, and that is, of course, its gull wings. Very large wings. Innovative feature on the Stuka was that it had a air brakes that would help pull out of the dive. Even if the pilot had blacked out, it would automatically deploy and pull out of the dive, so that way it didn't nosedive straight into the dirt. And here we have the covers for the landing gear and the landing gear itself. One of its flaws is that one of the main causes of drag was that the landing gear couldn't be deployed. And if one of these was shot off or damaged, there was actually a lever that the pilot could pull, and a small explosive charge would blow off both of the wheels and the gear that was extended, and it would be able to make a belly landing so it wouldn't tip to one side and crash. And you could actually recover the plane and fix it and reuse it again. Here we have more parts of the wing, the undersides. This is where the pylons would be to carry the weapons. And there we have the extended fuel tanks for the R version, and of course the bombs themselves, and the underside of the fuselage where the gull wings would bend down. And here are the ports for where the landing gear was protruding from. Interesting thing about the Stuka as well is the largest bomb was usually carried along the center line here, and that there was actually a small trapeze that when it was in a dive and it deployed the bomb, the trapeze would extend and then throw the bomb from there. And that was added to the aircraft to stop the bomb from smashing into the propeller and causing the plane to crash. And now we'll have a final look at, here we have the fuselage of the aircraft and the tail planes as well, and the struts at the side that used to help keep the tail planes in place, and the flaps that would go along the trailing edge of the wing. Well, I'll just move that up a little bit. And here we have along the trailing edge of the wings there. And that's where these would sit and help its control in flight. Pretty model, despite the fact that the Stuka was a little bit on the ugly side. Airfix do make very good kits, and they're very reasonably priced as well. If you're thinking of getting gifts, or even if you want to start, if you're starting to get into the hobby, Airfix are a very good company to be beginning on. And finally, let's have a look at the decal and the markings. The obvious big black iron cross of the German Luftwaffe and all of the unit markings here. No swastikas, because we don't include those in models anymore for obvious reasons. So yeah, excellent. Just another little walk down the path of history on some aircraft that served well but are no longer with us, and despite the fact that they are excellent for what they were, they weren't without their flaws. But still a legendary plane, the Stuka. A great many documentaries about it on YouTube that I'm sure that you could look up and find out about. So yeah, I hope I didn't massacre the German language too badly with all of the stuff that I said then. And I hope you enjoyed that video, guys. I really enjoy making these videos and talking to you about this stuff. So yeah, I look forward to making the next one. So as always, I always look forward to seeing you guys in the store sometime soon. And as always, rock and roll, baby.